Hey Mexicans, welcome to WICSO Restarted Season 2. Now I have to make a Season 2 because I lost the original map. Because my old computer was factory reset. And I couldn't download the old map. So yeah, we're gonna have to do a new one. So yeah, with that being said though, we will begin. As this new series will start over in Iberia. And we see that these people explore up into a good portion of eastern Iberia. Including Catalonia, which will be the border here. So yeah, this is the border of all the exploration right here. And the Red Iberian country will start up in its place over in Valencia. At first, it's just gonna start small though. But it'll eventually develop into something bigger. Well, the capital region would be over there. But I'm just gonna make that brush smaller. There. I think that'll do. Yep. And then we got major cities, which for now are only in these cities. But will expand as the series continues on. But yeah, anyway. The Red Iberians are an explorer country. They like to explore. And they're an imperialist too. So they want an empire as well. So we just go ahead and see the rest of Iberia get explored here. But this it pauses here as the Pyrenees Mountains are a challenge. But also these islands are kind of a barrier too because well, you know, water exploration isn't the big focus yet. But of course, in the wake of this exploration, we actually see two new countries start up. A Galician country, which is more focused in Galicia. And a Portuguese country, which is more focused over here in Portugal. Eventually, we will see that this territory might end up splitting Iberia up. But we'll see that in the future. As we see that these three have a major population boom. So a lot of these areas will focus on their expansion. The Iberians have the most population boom out of everyone here, though. As we see them encroach that way. We see the Galicians encroach more to the south and to the east. Not that far east, though. And then we see a population boom in the Portuguese too. So yeah, as you can see, the Iberians are the ones that peak the most. Especially as we see their major cities update to correspond with that. You see even some inland cities start to be developed. We see that some major cities get plopped around in the Galician country. And then some in the Portuguese country. The Portuguese are the ones with the less population, of course. But both of them still have capitals. So the Galicians will have their capital here, and the Portuguese will have their capital there. There isn't much going on in exploration, as I mean the Pyrenees Mountains are still holding them up. In the north anyway. But we do see them focusing on, we see the red team focusing on like military and like economy, or we see these two just focusing on economy. But eventually, of course, we see another population boom in all three of these countries, and this one's even bigger, as it'll pretty much reshape the borders of Iberia here, and we will see all that. We will see the land division now. So, yeah, this population boom is so big that the rest of Iberia ends up getting filled up. So the Portuguese get this. The Galicians get this. And then the remaining parts go over to the Iberians. And now we will see all the major cities get placed down. So, yeah, we do see that the red team gets the most land here, and they also get a bunch of population. But we also kind of see that the red Iberians do kind of share a whole border dispute, as they believe that literally all of Iberia is owned by them. So they're probably planning to invade these two eventually. But, we'll get to that. But besides that, we finally see that the Iberians do break through the Pyrenees Mountains, as they finally figure out technology to break that. Now, no, it's only going to be the Pyrenees. I mean, the Pyrenees are kind of the weaker mountains in Europe anyway. But they will explore up into France, along with up into the Dutch. So yeah, we see that the exploration even goes up into like Germany, pretty much. Now, once they interact with the Alps, though, that's when they decide to just stop going that way. But they do go around the Alps, so like Germany's pretty open. The Alps prevents them from exploring Italy for quite a bit of time, but we do see them go up into the Baltics. Where we actually finally see a new country start to form up in the Baltics. No, new countries form in all these lands, actually, really. So, like, first the Baltics, specifically Estonia, but it does expand eventually. It starts with Estonia, but it will expand later on. Then we see a Prussian country start up. This one's going to be dark red, but it's Prussians, so you already know how it is. Then we see a Danish country. Now this one also has the intention of becoming an empire. Take that how you will. But considering that intention, this Danish country is also going to be a lot bigger than our normal Danish country. At least mainland European wise. But anyway, now we see one more country start up. This one is going to be the Dutch. It's also an imperial. It's also going to be imperial, like the Danish. These countries are not imperial, but these countries really want to be imperial. And of course, the red team is a big example of imperial. So, yeah, we see that the coast of France, anyway, will be partitioned by, the red Iberians and the Dutch. We just go ahead and see that the Iberians take all this. So, wrong layer. We see the Iberians take all this. While we see the Dutch take all this. Now, it is also pretty apparent that they want their south border to expand up too. And of course, the Danish have a little bit of a border they want to settle on too. More German for now, of course. But we even see the Prussians and the Estonians expand at least a little bit. Now they aren't imperial, but they have intentions to expand because I mean, who doesn't? In this type of world, anyway. Plus, expansion most of the time does good for your population. But yeah, they see that the Estonians and the Prussians meet, and they actually get pretty good relations. So, yeah. But we do eventually see some exploration kick up again. As I mean, they haven't fully reached the Alps yet. Now they do, though. But they also get up into Eastern Europe with, like, the Balkans. Now, not all the Balkans are explored as of yet. A good chunk of it does get explored, but not all of it. Like, up to the Romanians, that's when... Actually, no, they do explore the Balkans eventually. The Balkans are going to be even more divided in this timeline than in the modern timeline, though. Please note that. However, it will start like the countries will start here and to no avail. But the Balkans are going to have a lot more countries here than in real life. So we see a Croatian country. An Albanian country. Which will have more than just Albania. As we see a dip into Greece too. A Bulgarian country. Which will have a green, of course. But it will kind of expand upon some lands too. A Turkish country, well, really just Constantinople country. Which will also kind of be Greek too. So it's like two sides of a coin. Only this one's probably a bit more. Well, that one's probably actually not. Constantinople country. And then also a Greek country. This will be light green in nature, but not really light green. I don't like that. Yeah, that's better. There's some white overflowing in some areas, though. Yeah, we see the peak Montenegro Empire. Which will be what it sounds like, a Montenegro Empire. It's a lot bigger than Montenegro in real life. But it's still Montenegro, you can tell it still is. We just go ahead and see that the Bulgarian Empire becomes a little bit more than just Bulgarian. And it also dips into Romania too. Yeah, these will be the borders of the countries, at least for now. And I mean, I will probably add capitals eventually, but we'll see that in a bit. With this area being in development, though, we do actually go ahead and see that the Dutch over here are really building up to be their own sort of empire. It's not gonna expand bigger into Eastern Europe, like as big as like the Dutch and the Disney series. As a matter of fact, the Danish and Dutch will be competing for strength. Really. So yeah, we just see that they want to connect up to the Mediterranean. So that is exactly what they do. So that's the Dutch right here. Meanwhile, the red team just takes over this. They also finally explore those islands and take them. However, the Danish, in response to the Dutch's competition, will first of all take a lot more of German lands, but also kind of expand up into the Silesian parts. Prussia sees this, and they get kind of angry, because, I mean, they did kind of want some of the Silesian stuff too. So they will go ahead and take a lot of it, blocking the Dutch. The Danish. The Danish are kind of angry, but they don't really care as much because, I mean, they're trying to compete with the Dutch anyway. Which reminds me, the Danish are able to find a way around the Alps. And so they're the ones who actually get to explore Italy. So, yeah. That's very interesting, actually. And yeah, we just see that the coastal areas of it have been explored. This is the Alps, though, so nobody goes through that. However, the Dutch and the Danish will still pretty much colonize all around here. As well, the Danish also want some Mediterranean access, just like the Dutch. So they get that. And along with that, actually meet the Balkans. Which is an interesting dynamic. But in response to this, though, we see a Hungarian nation begin over here. Now, they are really an interesting figure, as they want not only Hungarian lands, but even maybe an empire of their own too. So we just go ahead and see some eastern explorations here. Until finally, like, pretty much, we see all this get explored in the Alps, and yeah, interestingly enough. We will go ahead and see a border rework happen over here. So let's take a look at that. So yeah, we see the Balkans settling up on its borders. But then, we also see the final event of this video, which is a Russian country starts up. Now, Russian. It's going to be Russian. And Russian in this timeline will pretty much be originating at about here anyway. So it'll be Polish. Well, not really Polish. It's still Russian, but, you know. Russian and Polish are kind of not a thing in this universe anyway. But what's going to become Russia starts up here. And, well, that just makes me remember we need to make capitals and shit. So yeah, all these countries will be getting capitals because I forgot. The Russians will have their capital there. The Estonians there. Prussians here. The Hungarians about here. The Croatians here. The Montenegrins here. The Bulgarians, interestingly enough, will have it about here. The Albanians there. The Greeks there. And the Constantinople's right there. Along with the Danish, who I almost... Yeah, okay. The Danish have it in Copenhagen. The Dutch over in Amsterdam. And, yeah. But anyway. We go ahead and see that the final portion of the land here will get partitioned between the Dutch, the Danish, and a new Italian country. We'll start with here. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at the Dutch here first. we'll get a good chunk of land. Like that. And we see the Danish get a little bit. Like up to here. The Iberians decided to include themselves in this because they really just want the islands here. As they're an empire, but they also really like islands. So like they get Sicily, Sardinia, and Corsica. Meanwhile, the remaining part of this turned into an Italian country. So all of this. And so, yeah. Also some border... I'm going to make some border improvements in the Dutch and Danish border. Give me a second. Okay, yeah, these borders are probably a little better here too, at least. But yeah, with this entire map being filled up, that'll pretty much end this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in a new video. Peace out.